Regular meeting of the Gibson County Legislative Body will please come to order. Thank you all for being here this morning. We've got a good crowd here. Always like to see the public engaged in what we've got going on here at the County Commission. Thank you all for being here. Before I call on Commissioner Schulze to lead us in prayer, it's with a heavy heart that I ask all of us here this morning to please remember the Schulze family in all of our prayers as they're dealing with the loss of Mr. Ballaston's wife after a long illness. And we certainly do remember you, Commissioner Schulze, in all of our prayers as we go forward. At this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Schulze to please lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Most kind and gracious Father in heaven, we come unto you once again in prayer with bowed heads and humble hearts, thanking you for allowing us this privilege to gather here this morning to conduct the affairs before us. We pray that you'll look down upon us as we go about making our decisions and guide us, that they might be pleasing to you in the best interest of all those concerned. Most of all this morning, Father, we're thankful for your dear Son who gave his precious life for us on that cruel cross. May we never take this for granted. We pray that you'll be with all. It's our duty and our privilege to pray the wide world over. Bless the leadership throughout the world, that they might find peace. Bless our military serving our country, that they might be safe. Pray that you'll look down on me and my family this morning, that you would continue to bless us, that you keep us ever near thee. Thankful for our many friends that has encouraged us through this time. We pray that you'll be with the sick, the needy, bereaved, distressed in any manner. Guide our footsteps as we go along life's way, that we might not be a stumbling block to anyone else. Continue with us as on through this life we'll go and find in heaven save us, for we pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And again, thank everyone for being here this morning. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Commissioner Michael Longmire.
Here.
Commissioner Cunningham. Commissioner Sykes.
Here.
Commissioner Barker.
Here.
Commissioner Carr.
Here.
Commissioner Mackin.
Here.
Commissioner James Longmire.
Here.
Commissioner Shelton.
Here.
Commissioner Stubbs.
Here.
Commissioner Cameron.
Here.
Commissioner Summers.
Here.
Commissioner Overall.
Here.
Commissioner Wayne Morris.
Here.
Commissioner Melvin Morris.
Here.
Commissioner Collins.
Here.
Commissioner Flake.
Here.
Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Coppers.
Here.
Commissioner Lieberman.
Here.
Commissioner Stone.
Here.
Commissioner Steele.
Here.
Commissioner Yergin.
Here.
Commissioner Childress.
Here.
Commissioner Moss.
Here.
24 present, 1 absent. We do have a quorum. Thank you. Everyone received a copy of the minutes from the previous meeting. I'd like to entertain a motion that we suspend with the reading of these minutes and adopt as presented. Motion made by Commissioner Flake, seconded by Commissioner Steele. All those in favor vote by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, likewise. Motion carried. Thank you. We've also received a copy of reports. I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept the reports as presented. Motion made by Commissioner Miles, seconded by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor vote by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, likewise. Thank you. I believe we have with us this morning Miss Julie Allen Burke. Are you here with us? Thank you. Ms. Burke chairs our Workforce Development Committee. She's going to come forward for a discussion on our Jump Start Scholarship that was discussed at a previous meeting and table. It was recommended by some of the commissioners that we come back with this discussion once we have a clearer picture of how our year end is going to look, and I think we're going to see later on that we're looking pretty good. Thank you, Judith, for being here.
Thank you for having me. Is there a question? We had a discussion at the last meeting, and I guess that at this point I'll just entertain any more questions that you have about the request.
And we took the request back to the Workforce Development Committee for any possible changes. We offered some of the comment and feedback we received here, and the Workforce Committee wants to keep the program as is, and we can adjust it next year if it's successful as we think it might be, and we hope it is. But they wanted to present the proposal back to you as a body as presented in the previous meeting.
Yes, that is correct. Do y'all have the copy of the request, or do you want me to go over it?
There's a copy
Okay.
of the request in the package.
Okay, it would be for any senior that graduates from a public high school in Gibson County and that has already been accepted to an institution of higher learning that is a school that is in Gibson County or surrounding counties. And the reason for that is to strengthen our region. And so we want to support those schools in our county and the counties that surround Gibson County. All of the applications will be taken online. That will give us the opportunity to have it date stamped. And so the number of applicants from each school will depend on their enrollment. So if you have a smaller school, you'll get fewer scholarships awarded to your school. If you have a larger school, you'll get a larger amount awarded to your school. I'm trying to think of anything else. The money will be paid directly to the institution, not to the student.
And just to add to that, we get asked as part of our RFI process, really more than from time to time, whether or not we have a countywide scholarship program like many other counties do, and there's never really been a good answer to that. Well, this will give us the opportunity to answer, yes, we do. And we've had several former and current commissioners that have shown interest in it, and this is the product of that interest as presented by the Workforce Development Committee for your consideration.
And we did do some research on the programs that other communities around our region have. So we took I think the best parts from all of those and combined them in this program to make it easy. This does not require an employee to facilitate and to administer. It doesn't require an extra paid person to do this program. Any questions? Marvin?
Yes. Tell us about the money and how much money you're requesting, please.
It's $25,000 total, and that would help 100 students in our county, $250 each. Yes, sir.
Still gonna be first come, first served.
Yes, sir.
After the first semester, they're on their own, they can't reapply, or the next year, they can reapply.
It's just for graduating seniors. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If a person put in a request to get this money, and he decides not to take it, do you have a way of getting that money back, or receiving the funds?
Well, they would have to we're paying the school, so if they don't go to the school, then they won't get the money.
If the school will actually be invoicing for the money once the student is in place. And the school would invoice us.
Right. Any other questions?
Judy, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
If there are no further questions.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
May I request to be recognized, but she's still available? I have just a couple of questions for clarification. Am I entitled?
Yes, you may.
I try to keep it quick. I'm
Just-
Jerry Baker from Dyer. A couple of questions is, how does this relate to the Tennessee Promise Program, competing or overlapping or whatever? And second one relates to the one question here, once they enroll, but if they drop out within a probationary period, is there a guarantee that the money won't revert to them, it will actually come back to the county?
Okay, the first question on the Tennessee Promise is that it will help anybody that's needs school supplies or anything like that. So it can help any student going to any school in our region. So even if they're getting help from Tennessee Promise, this could help with their books or supplies. And the other question is, we have had other people that have asked us about the money being returned, and once the school has invoiced us, the money will go to the school. So there is no guarantee, but that doesn't, I don't think that is a deterrent from doing the program.
Thank you.
Because that's very few that happens with.
Say if one kid had accepted the grant and then filed out, and the school already had the money, then if there was another kid that was in line with that money, then go to that next kid that was in line.
If we're able to work that out with the school, yes.
But again, I think the focus here should really be on those that it's helping, not the ones that are gonna fall out or take advantage of it or cost us something. I think the focus really should be on the overwhelming majority that would benefit from it. And I think it would be a vast majority. And I think I don't want to get into the business of straining a gnat, swallow a camel, brother. But that's kind of what I compare it to. And it's a great program. And from a marketing standpoint, I mean, the pop it would give us for $25,000, which is a very small amount of money in the grand scheme of things, would be really great for us. It'd be able to give us the ability to check yes on that box when it asks in the workforce development section, do we offer a countywide scholarship program? We can check yes, just like Dyer County checks yes, and Lauderdale County, and everybody that we compete with. So.
Right. And the risk is minimized by having the schools invoice us. And we have been advised that that's the best way to do that, to minimize that risk.
And it wouldn't be reinventing the wheel. They've been doing this for, some of them going on 15 years in different counties. They're already invoicing long-term and familiar with the process and have all those mechanisms in place to handle it. So.
And we have several representatives from higher education that are on our committee that have offered advice and have experienced some challenges with doing that. So we did our research and we took the best practices from all of those.
And I'd like to also add that the Workforce Development Committee has been very active for the past 4 years. We've done the best we could with a small amount of money. We've used our 3-star grant money and other funding mechanisms to do these programs that we've done. These programs are getting statewide recognition in some cases, and this is the first time this committee has come before you as a body to ask for any kind of money. So what we're looking at, if you want to break it down like this, it's $6,000 a year for the past 4 years. They're asking for $25,000 to go toward this scholarship program. I think we usually have 15 people a month show up for that workforce committee meeting. I mean, $6,000 a year, that's not a lot to ask for, in my opinion, for the pot we could get. Yes, ma'am, would you like to be recognized?
I'm Jean Baker from Dyer. I have a question regarding the apportionment of the scholarships. Okay, you said it's based on enrollment. Is that enrollment of the high school?
The senior class.
The senior class. So
Yes,
okay, well, that wasn't made clear. And because it could vary from year to year.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's going to be a portion of like we got basically 6 senior classes, if I count right, in the
Yes, ma'am.
county. And so each year it could shift radically depending on the size.
It will shift.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
This is a one-time request, so is it not?
It is a one-time request, and it would be brought up for reconsideration on an annual basis based on available
The
funds.
success.
Yeah, based on its
Program.
success and available funds, yes.
That's my opinion.
There's another person.
Exactly right.
Yes, ma'am. Would you like to be recognized?
Yes, please. I'm Jennifer Baker from Dyer. Sorry, I got big families here. One question I have is, you're saying it's on a first come, first served basis, and it's for graduating seniors.
Yes, ma'am.
Having been from another state and seeing a similar program in place, I guess what is, this is a great program, we have the Tennessee Promise program that's coming up through the state or whatnot, but in the situation where a senior, possibly due to family issues or other financial issues or whatnot, has to take that year break, you're saying this is only available for seniors versus saying for first year enrollees or freshman class. So for that student that, or they go off and join the National Guard or whatever else, but they come back home and hey, they've served our country. Is there anything in place for that? As well as, I guess, the first come, first serve. It's basically how fast can the student get to online and get signed up. So you have a, I'm sorry, but not everybody has internet in their home, so we're relying on the parent or whatever else, or the school system to allow these seniors at the time that you guys flip the switch or the date of, this is the sign-up date, how fast can they get on there if there's no other requirement than just that how fast your name hit your timestamp system to be eligible for this?
We partner with the counselors at each of the schools, so everybody will get the same information. I'm pretty sure all the schools have internet capability, so we use the counselors at each school as our partners, and they will help the kids get online and get signed up. And what was the first question?
The first question was just because you're saying this is eligible to graduating seniors.
Right.
So
If they have to already be accepted to a school. They have to have an acceptance letter from a school.
No, I understand that. What I guess my question is for that child that he's graduate. We just had a graduating class in June. Let's use that for example. He's not good as a senior. He wants to go for the scholarship, but he knows that I'm not, due to a family issue or he's going into the service or whatever else, he's not going to be actually enrolling in college for another year or 2 years or whatever else. He's automatically shut out of this program, correct? Because he's not going to be applying.
I think the committee would look at that. That won't be my decision. The committee as a whole will look at each case. And I think that those are going to be very few and far between. But we would look at each case and decide as a committee together.
And again, we could sit here for a month and a half and talk about different scenarios and what is. We could do that all day long, but the fact remains, and I think this is going to be true with every issue we have before us here today, there's really only two questions we should be asking. Is it the right thing to do, and can we afford it? That's really what it boils down to, and the committee has asked for that allocation. I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve. Motion made by Commissioner Kimmerer, seconded by Commissioner Smith. Is there any further questions? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Michael Longmire,
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Carr,
Yes.
Commissioner Macklin,
Yes.
Commissioner James Longmire,
Yes.
Commissioner Sheldon,
Yes.
Commissioner Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Cameron,
Yes.
Commissioner Summers,
Yes.
Commissioner Overall,
Yes.
Commissioner Wayne Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Melvin Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Flake,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Copas,
Yes.
Commissioner Lieberman,
Yes.
Commissioner Stone,
Yes.
Commissioner Steele,
Yes.
Commissioner Yergin,
Yes.
Commissioner Childress,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank y'all so much.
And thank you, Ms. Burke.
Thank you, Mayor.
Again, thank you so much for that on behalf of all the seniors that benefit from it. Thank you all. Before we get into our resolutions, we have, in addition to our budget transfers from our last meeting, we have two budget transfers that we weren't aware of. This is a housekeeping measure to keep our books straight with the auditors. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve our budget transfers. Motion made by Commissioner Steele, seconded by Commissioner Copus. All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, like sign. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion that we suspend with reading of resolutions. Motion made by Commissioner Steele, seconded by Commissioner Michael Longmire. All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, like sign. And we only have one resolution before us, and that's getting the budget set today. So with that said, I'd like to call on Commissioner Shelton to come forward.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Same song, second verse. We're going to do this maybe a little bit differently this morning than what we did in our recess meeting. It seems like there's some concerns over the tax rate, so we'll deal with that first. But I wanted to point out to you is that you have it laying on your desk. These are some newer figures than even what we had the other night, because getting close to the end of the month, all our bills are coming in, we're checking revenues and everything. So these pages would replace those pages that you see in your packet. The good news is, if you'll look on the very last page, it says page 33. You'll notice it's, of course, toward the bottom, it says estimated beginning fund balance July 1. That figure has changed. It was 5.4 something, now it's 5.8, it went up. Our estimating ending fund balance next year, it has also changed. It's up about 370,000, I think it is, to 409 now. So those are some, kind of shows you what happens at the end of the year when we start really getting all the ending bills in, all the ending revenues in, how things can change sometimes fairly dramatically. The last few years that kind of has been the case. We've seen that fund balance grow $300,000-$400,000 when the year ends, because of the year-end accounting that is done to get there. Because like I say, we still have some few bills out for the month of June, but not many. So these are real good figures that you might want to look for. So having said that, let's start talking about tax rate. Let's say that seems to be kind of a cheap topic. Because
Commissioner, just a second. Mr. Nita, correct me if I'm wrong, but this number does reflect encumbrances also. Is that correct?
right, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. There's just
okay. I just want to be clear on that. This is
Yeah.
about as clear a picture as we're going to be able to get.
yeah, right now, yeah. We think that's going to offset up all those over expenditures. Okay. And if anyone wants, I don't have that many left. I asked our property appraiser to do something for me, because I can't speak about what your taxes will do, won't do, will cost you, won't cost you. Because I'm not going to sit and look up each one of your property list. But Gary's, I call him a friend, and I asked him to look up all of mine. So if you want to see what I pay in taxes to Gibson County, come by and pick one up. I don't mind showing you. You'll see what the appraised value of all the property that I do own. You'll see what the assessment is. And here's the thing. Like I say, at either tax rate that we're talking about today, the 93.34, which is the same as what 94 cents generated last year, or if you just round it up to make it 94 cents, with his, an increase of 0.066, 66 hundredths of a cent, okay? My tax bill for all of my property, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces here listed. 9334, guess what? No change, because it's the same as 94 last year. 94 cents. And this is with reappraisals. I mean, yeah. I have a house, farm acreage, a lot, a parking lot, a storage facility, and a funeral home building. If we raise it to 94, or like I say, 66 hundredths of a penny, my tax bill will go up $18 for the year. The house goes up $2.64. The farmland goes up 94 cents. The lot, the 1 acre lot, goes up 18 cents. And the parking lot goes up $1.22. The storage facility goes up 20 cents, and the funeral home building there in Humboldt goes up $12.42. So that gives you some real down-to-earth figures what we're talking about. So I'm suggesting that we look at tax rate, and y'all set the tax rate to, like I say, whatever we want to do after that. It will fund the budget any way we go at it. So I'll take anybody, I would say 94 just because it's easier math than the 93.34, but so Corey wants to leave at 93.34. Got a motion?
Motion's been made by Commissioner Yergin to set the rate at 9.334, seconded by Commissioner Summers. Any further discussion? Question? Commissioner Carr?
We set it at 9.334. What will this do in the future? Will it take care of what we need to take care of?
That's what I say, 93.34 funds the budget we talked about previously. Or 94 would be.
Well, 94 would be better than 9.34.
What?
It's just I don't know, it's just
The 9.334 rate is recommended by the state of Tennessee. They're saying that that'll generate the same revenue that the current 94 is. And I will remind this body that that number has changed twice in the past 3 months, you know, their projections. So we can, if you look at where we are today, and I'm going to share part of my financial report that was in your package. We've got $10 million as of the date of this report, $10,081,000 cash on hand. Ms. Lanita, you've been here how many years? Can you remember us in that period of time having that much cash on hand?
No.
Well, it hadn't been 8 figures since I've been in office for sure. So that's, you know, it's, you know, we're talking about the difference between the 4.334 and the 94, $50,000 a year. They're about, you know,
About 40.
yeah.
Something like that, 40.
Yeah. That is if the,
We got a motion on the floor.
yeah, motion's been made and seconded on the 9334. Any further discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Michael Longmire,
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Carr,
yes.
Commissioner Macklin,
Have a disclaimer I have to read again. Because I'm an employee of the Gibson County Sheriff's Department, I have a conflict of interest in the proposal we're about to be voted on. However, I declare that my argument and my vote answers only to my constituents and my obligation to my constituents and the citizen of this body represents TCA 12-4-101. I vote yes.
Commissioner James Longmire,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Stark,
Yes.
Commissioner Cameron,
Yes.
Commissioner Summers,
Yes.
Commissioner Overall,
Yes.
Commissioner Wayne Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Melvin Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Flake,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Coppers,
Yes.
Commissioner Lebanon,
Yes.
Commissioner Stone,
Yes.
Commissioner Steele,
Yes.
Commissioner Yergin,
Yes.
Commissioner Childers,
I also have a disclaimer. Because I'm an employee of the Gibson County Sheriff's Department, I have a conflict of interest in the proposal about to be voted. However, I declare that my argument and my vote answer only to my conscience and my obligation to my constituents and the citizens this body represents. Yes.
Commissioner Moss.
Yes.
Motion carries with that, right? Thank you.
Good. I need some clarification. On the 4%. All right.
Next thing we're gonna address, it's kind of, we're going in reverse order of what we normally do. The next order I want to address is your nonprofits, because I think there's some, one here that wishes to speak and address that issue, about our nonprofits, and of course you have a list of those. It's, about $35,000, I think.
At this time, Commissioner Shelton yields the floor to Reverend Paul Tucker, who's with us here today to talk about nonprofit allocations. Brother Paul, you come forward. And we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. Thank you for the privilege of being able to speak before this body today. I want to speak to you about what is, I think, the most important subject that will come across your mind today, including the business of this county commission, and also including your personal lives. And that is the subject of the Patterson Training and Rehabilitation Center here in Trenton, Tennessee. I thought about a number of ways how to address this issue when I discovered 3 or 4 weeks ago that this body voted to deny the request of the Budget Committee. But then as I got to looking in to the subject, I found other information that is pertinent to this subject. I discovered that under my watch as a member of Gibson County, as a citizen of Gibson County, in 2011, me, like many, not being aware of the business of this body, that the nonprofit organizations' funding had been cut in half by the county commission. Now, I can't speak for any of the nonprofit organizations that this body gives money to, except the C.H. Patterson Training Center. And I would like to know, and you don't have to answer this, how many of you have ever driven out onto Highway 45 bypass, and no matter which way you're going, come by the Patterson Center and take a time to drive up into the driveway and walk into the building there and see the services that are provided to the citizens of our county who by and large can't speak for themselves. I thought of a number of ways that I could emphasize how important this matter is. I thought about going to the Patterson Center this morning and grabbing a couple of schoolmates of mine that have been served by the Patterson Center since the early 1970s and bring them in here with me. I thought about calling my daughter who works at one of the group homes and have her to bring with her Jen Ann or Lori or Francis and have them to come in here and to just allow you to see them But then I realized that their dignity as human beings is worth far more than that, because they would be just on parade for you. The Bible says in John, the 2nd chapter, they asked Jesus, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that this child was born blind?" And Jesus said, "It is not this man who sinned or his parents, but this child was born blind, that the works of God might be displayed in him." What I'd like to say to you this morning, if there is any entity, any church, any organization in Gibson County that is doing the work of God, it is probably the C.H. Patterson Center and the group of people that they deal with on a daily basis and minister to. And I've wondered for the last several weeks how many of the commissioners have ever driven by and ever gone in and visited and seen the works that takes place at the Patterson Center. If you had, there would have never been one negative vote on discontinuing the money for the Patterson Center. Not only that, in 2011, this board or this commission would not have dropped the money amount given to the Patterson Center from $24,750 down to $12,375. And like I say, I'm as responsible as anybody for that as a member of this community. I was not aware that that had taken place. I'm deeply embarrassed by it. You know, of all the groups, of all the people in our community who deserve to be supported, it is the citizens or the clients of the C.H. Patterson Training and Rehabilitation Center. And I don't know how you go about doing this, but first of all, I hope that you won't consider removing them from the budget. And second of all, I'm smart enough to know that the county commission can do whatever the county commission wants to do in matters such as this. But I really wish that this county commission would prayerfully consider restoring the original amount of money given to the Patterson Center as it was back before 2011 when their funds were cut in half. A bruised reed, the Bible says, Jesus will not break. A faintly burning wick he will not quench. He will faithfully bring forth justice. So I'm here today not speaking in behalf of First Presbyterian Church. I'm not here today speaking in behalf of the Trenton Ministerial Alliance. I'm here speaking in behalf of a group of people who gathered under a tent about 8 months ago, and I held the funeral for a man by the name of Chapel Washington, who had been under the client services of C.H. Patterson Training Center. And all of the residents gathered around under that tent, and I didn't know what I could do or what I could say that would bring comfort to them as their friend that they'd lived with for 40 years. And the only thing I could think of was this: y'all, why don't we do this? And I started singing "Jesus Loves Me," and every one of them started singing with me. Jesus loves me, this I know. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, please reconsider the nonprofit giving that was voted down this last month at your last meeting. And I would ask that in only ways that God could bring about, that this commission restore the original $24,000 that is given to the Patterson Center. And say, well, how can we do that? Well, the reserves of this county say that the money's there. And you who are voted into office, can be voted out. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Paul, for being here, taking time out of your day to be with us. There's one more that would like to speak. Commissioner, if it would please, Commissioner Shelton, to continue to yield, I'd like to call on Mr. Harry Adcock, Director of the C.S. Patterson Training Center, to talk to us just a minute about what the loss of this county funds would do to him in terms of our state match money that the center receives.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's always hard to follow a preacher when it comes to this. Like Brother Paul said, we've been in operation in this county since 1972. I hate having to do this, but we are not the Winfrey Center. We're not RHA. We've been here since 1972. The new homes that you've seen come up in your community are not ours. Our residential placement homes have been in this county since the early 80s. A county, no matter where it is in this union, has three most vulnerable citizens. That's people with disabilities, the elderly, and the children. And we serve all three. We serve 75 children since 1972, which is in the thousands now, that we have served across this county, ages 0 to 3. We serve all those children in their homes because they may be too medically fragile to be brought into a program. We have certified teachers that teach them. We serve 85 families in our family support program that serves anybody of any age with any type of disability. We serve 76 adults in our day programs, and I took the liberty of, after the last county commission meeting, to go through and pull each commissioner's district and to get my staff to compile the number of families, neighbors, church members, extended families, friends that live in your district that we serve. And I pull those numbers for those commissioners that voted no or those commissioners that voted absent. I have that list here. I have every map from every district. I also have a list of the children, the families that we serve, the adults that we serve here for you. I would not name those out. I would not take your time doing that. If you want to ask me about your district, where the people live that we serve, you might not know them. But since 1972, I would bet whatever the county gives us to double that. If you can tell me that you don't know one person that lives within a mile of you that we have not provided services for, or a family we haven't provided services for. If any of you went to church yesterday, if I had asked your preacher for a family member or a person we served to stand up, everybody in every church in this county would have stood up. Now, you're saying, well, you're a nonprofit, you know, this, that, and the other. Of 11 of the 13 properties that we provide services in, and this is important, I think. Of the 11 of the 13 properties that we provide services for, property taxes are paid on those properties. So the argument that we don't pay property taxes is out. When the commission, and it seemed like that some of you forgot that the wheel tax was raised several years ago, Commissioner Shell?
It was raised and the tax rate was over.
That's right. Nobody in this room was affected more than us. We pay wheel tax registration on 34 vehicles. Anybody in here pay that amount or more? I didn't think so. We, at the end of June, we had 101 employees. If I ask you to raise your hand, you got more than that? Not many gonna raise their hand. At the end of June of this last year, for the fiscal year, we had a $2.1 million payroll. Anybody want to raise a hand on that one? So, the argument always is that you get grouped in with a bunch of other nonprofits. I'm here speaking on behalf of the Patterson Center and what we do for this community. Economic development, we hear all about. Somebody tell me who does more for less. I mean, you can do it now. If you have a problem with me or the way the program's administered, that's okay. Don't single us out without asking me what we exactly that we do. For those commissioners that were absent and voted no, just like Brother Paul said, stop by the center, stop by any of our group homes, go to work with my teachers to go into the children's homes. Commissioner overall, Commissioner Wayne Morris, Commissioner Bobby Cottom, Commissioner Robin Summers, they know exactly what we do because they see the people that we work with. Jim's out there all the time. Come out there, don't talk to me, don't talk to my staff, go introduce yourselves to the people that live in your district. And if the vote is no today, I was going to bring and let all of my people drop them off at the door and bring them in. If the vote is no today, by the time you have second reading, you're going to have a bigger place. Because they're going to be here. And you're going to be surprised, Commissioner Kimberly, that there are going to be a lot of those people that you know. And I thank you for your time, and would appreciate your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Adcock, for being here, and we appreciate all you do.
One other thing, I know nobody's gonna ask me a question, but I wanna ask myself a question. Somebody out there is thinking, well, what's gonna happen if the county doesn't fund us? And my best analogy is that some of you farmers take your biggest track hoe and you put out there at Gibson County Lake. For the last 7 years, we haven't had an increase in our rates that the state pays. Take 7 scoops out of that. In the last 4 years, we haven't had an increase in our United Way funding. Take us 4 more scoops out. In the last 3 years, we haven't had an increase in our county court funding. Take a scoop out of that. For long, you're not going to have a lake. And I hope that we don't get to the point, and I hope and pray that none of you in here will ever need our services. But I hope and pray too that when you call 855-2316, when you do need them, it's my answers to phone.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Just so you'll know, I made a suggestion 4 years ago to get this pulled out of this nonprofit where that wouldn't happen. I just want you to know that.
Yes. Thanks.
How much of your budget is from the federal government?
We get about 75% through Teen Care. All of our funding comes through the Teen Care program, the major part of it. It's funneled through the State Department of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. Under the state has a waiver program so they can match those dollars so it wouldn't be pure state dollars. The rest of the money comes from wherever we can get it. We recently had to, because of budget cuts, close our facility in Crockett County and bring those people over here. Crockett County Commission, even though those people don't have a facility in Crockett County, still fund us at the same amount they funded us for the last 15 years. Even though we're bringing those people over here.
How much would that be?
$6,000. And that's for 10 individuals that we serve in Crockett County.
Mr. Adcock, have you suffered any other reductions along the last couple of years of funding sources?
The United Way funding, the county court money, The main problem is not having any increases in rates from the state in the last 7 years, which means we operate under the same rate system, just like a physician that charges a rate for a service. But that has not increased in 7 years. July 1, we got a 1% increase. That's a targeted increase. It goes to salaries for my direct care employees. But in figuring with numbers and everything, you take that 1% and it's gonna cost the agency 0.0765 to match that Social Security and Medicare and stuff. You're getting less than 1/3%, 7 years. Take another scoop out of the day.
Mr. Mayor, just a question. What would we have to do to get this out of this nonprofit? Or the county would look at it to fund this out of our regular budget? What would have to be done to do that? I asked that 4 years ago.
Actually, you can't. The whole resolution, it tells you, under the code, state of Tennessee, how this nonprofit resolution has to come about. They have to turn in a copy of their most recent audit. They have to be non-profit organization. They have to send a statement as to what they use the money for and what their operation does, how they operate. And then the budget committee looks those over. We have to have those before they can be put on the list. But it is, it's in the code. In fact, it tells you section 5-9-109C of Tennessee Code Annotated. It sets out exactly what the county has to do because we operate as under the umbrella of the state of Tennessee.
So to answer your question, it would have to be brought about by a change in
Well,
state
my
law.
point, Mr. Mayor, is I don't want you to think that we're all against it, because that's not the case at all. I mean, we looked at this before, and we're concerned about that center. I've lived here all my life as well, and these people here have too. So we don't want you to think that we're against you. But we go out and talk to our people in our districts, the ones that put us here, and they don't want us to vote for them. And I'm just being honest with you. They don't want us to vote for nonprofits, is what I'm saying to you.
Well, I think the reason, Melvin, is a lot of churches give
That's right.
through contributions, and
That's
a lot of people give through individual gift, and that's one of the reasons.
Those gifts may not be,
I could give you a list of that, and that pales in comparison. That's less than 1/2% of our budget.
Well, I think the sad thing about the thing is that you've got to come to the county commission to ask for donations. I mean, as citizens of Gibson County, you ought to be able to raise the funds through everybody's own individual charity. The people that I represent, everybody likes charities. They like yours, they like Le Bonheur, they like St. Jude, they like all of them. But a lot of them don't want to be taxed to be paid to pay to charities. They want to give to the charity of their choice.
Yes, sir, but when they come to you, do you tell them that we generate $2.1 million of revenue, that we pay property taxes on 11 of our 13 properties, that we employ in this county 101 individuals? Does anybody, when they bring up that argument, tell them that?
Well, yes.
You,
I mean,
Then how-
not all the
how did
figures,
you
but
know those figures
I
before I
didn't know the figures, but I did know that you pay property tax. And I did know that you had employees that worked in the county. I mean, knowing the exact figures, no, we didn't know them. But the people, there's a lot of good charities, and I think yours is one of the best. And as myself, whatever my taxes are, I would write you a check for my portion. There's lots of people that do not want to be taxed and the money given to charity.
understand that.
I mean,
Another thing is that we're really not a charity. We're a
Right.
service provider. We're a part of the economic development of this county.
I understand that, and I think y'all do a great job and a great service, and I think you need to be commended for it. But I'd rather write the check myself to you, is to write it to the county.
You got your checkbook.
I do.
One other thing where you go along that line, we have a private individual that contacted me this morning from out of state and has agreed to put $50,000 in a foundation in Memphis. And his proposal was anything that the county appropriated over what we were trying to get appropriated, he will match dollar for dollar. The first $3,000, he will match 10 to 1. So that check will go a long way. If the county commission agrees on our proposal and votes on our proposal, and I know we're grouped in with everybody else, and I have nothing against that. I'm up here speaking on behalf of people in this community, of this county, that cannot speak for themselves. And the question is, if you keep cutting and cutting, who's gonna be the last person that sits on that track hole, that takes out that scoop, that starts out water running? Mr. Graves and I were talking about that. You know, who's gonna be the one that does that? Little by little, you don't have a link.
Greg,
Yes.
I am an advocate for nonprofits. I want to let you know that right off. I am an advocate. I was in the future that you would come to see us more often, and not in a way where we're at today. I sure wish you were here 3 months ago. But I would encourage you, please visit us often and tell us what your needs are. And because when our budget committees meet and start chopping these things up, somebody does lose in the end. And we appreciate you being here today. I know I do. Please keep the commission informed in the future.
Yes, sir. I can give you all the information you need as often as you need it, but it seems that the dilemma is that we're grouped in with a bunch of other groups, good or bad. I mean, we may be the group that are holding some people back from voting for them. We are, I need to know that. I need to know, my life is about serving the people of this county that can't speak for themselves, John. Yes, sir, Mr. Knapp.
I have no doubt whatsoever that the Patterson Center, that there is a return on investment in this county for the Patterson Center. It's difficult, and I think we've seen a bad trade this morning. We spent $25,000 on a scholarship program. But I think the investment, the return on investment is very questionable. I would wish that we could reduce that number of students from 100 to 50, take that 12,000 and restore the Patterson Center. And I don't know whether that's possible. But we would still have a scholarship program, and we can restore these folks that do provide such a great service to this county. And I would hope that the commission put that forward if that's possible.
Well, Mr. Adcock, I'd like to ask you clarification on what you said about a matching of individual in the match funds.
That's on the table today.
Are his willingness to match funds of what's additional appropriated day, or what's
Anything over the $12,375 for the first $3,000, he will match 10 to 1. For the rest of it, up to $50,000, he will match dollar for dollar. I have the documents there from the foundation, Board of Governors, and the contract that only needs my signature. I have those documentations. This is from an anonymous donor, but I have him on speed dial, and the mayor could call him and he would verify this, or any of you could pick one of the commissioners to call him directly and he would do that.
Today, you're asking for us to put back the $12,375. Correct? Increase.
Well, first of all, I'm asking for the original $12,375.
Okay. Well, that's been approved. The original.
No, sir. No,
Well, first reading.
It failed.
no, it
First
failed.
reading failed.
12 to 6.
Yeah.
It's in there to be approved.
To be voted on.
12,375, you're asking for an additional 12,375, and that's going to get you an additional 20,000.
Well, that's gonna get, the first 3,000 is gonna get an additional 30,000, because he's gonna match that 10 for 1.
Yep.
Anything over that 3,000, he will match dollar for dollar up to 50,000.
So if the county commission added another 23,000 to that allocation, you have a private donor that would put 50,000 with the 23,000.
Basically, it ended up being 80,000. Does that make any sense?
If we do what's proposed in our resolution, 12,375, and add the additional 12,375 back to that, that's what I'm talking about. Whatever we do today would be a one-time appropriation subject to approval again next year. But with the additional funding you can get from this individual, that will make it easier on you in the next couple of years anyway, for meeting expenses.
Yes, sir. As far as that goes, we're 2 and 3 months behind in getting our reimbursement from the Department of Ed and TennCare. Basically, that would get me through payroll on July 31st. We have visited every bank in this town and have been helped by everyone but one that we got turned down by. And it's not help as far as giving us money, it's help as far as loaning us money, refinancing loans, restructuring loans. I've talked to them all. And when one tells me no, I pick up that packet and go to the next.
I'll put a motion on the floor to restore the funding to $24,750. $24,750 with payments.
The motion on the floor is by Commissioner Barker to restore the funding from 12,375, excuse me, to 24,750. Motion's been made. Seconded by Commissioner Summers.
One other comment, Mayor, if you mind. What Mr. Nance commented, I was sitting here thinking the very same thing. You know, we talk about workforce development and on-job training things. Who can do it better than the Patterson Center? And they've demonstrated that over the years.
And I agree. We got two opponents here agreeing on something.
Yeah,
So let's do something to
it's
it.
not politics, it's just the way it is.
Amen.
Mr. Mayor, I know there's a motion on the floor, though. Would there be a way, Mr. Adcock, that you could separate yourself from the other, that where you're more of a, you're basically a county entity somewhat, but I guess you're a nonprofit. I don't know how that. I mean, I know you're taking from everything else here, the rescue squad and all that, but it seems like, you're paying taxes, you're paying payroll, these other, does that not classify you into a different group that you don't have to fall into, what Mr. Morris said before, that
As long as they're a nonprofit, we're bound by state law to allocate those funds through this process. And there's just no way around it. I mean, and if we don't do it this way, we're operating illegally.
you can't just isolate one because of the situation in the service to the community. I mean, all of them are service to the community, but this is payroll, employment, taxes, and everything that they pay. Do these other entities do likewise?
Some do, some don't. I mean, we could break down nonprofit on an individual basis and have to have 2 readings on every single nonprofit that would keep us here.
But if they put them in a group to where they were, they're it kind of lumps some into here that are not, they meet different criteria, it seems like,
Motion's been, Commissioner Sykes, would you like to add a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted, we are going to bring up this morning about voting for the nonprofits. That's later, is that right?
Right, the motion on the floor is for an amendment to increase the amount to Patterson Training Center from 12,375 to 24,750. The motion has been made, properly seconded. Any further discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Michael Longmire,
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Carr,
Yes.
Commissioner Macklin,
Yes.
Commissioner James Longmire,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Stark,
Yes.
Commissioner Cameron,
Yes.
Commissioner Summers,
Yes.
Commissioner Overall,
Yes.
Commissioner Wayne Morris,
Yeah.
Commissioner Melvin Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Flake,
Okay, so no. Back to.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Coppers,
Yes.
Commissioner Latham,
Yes.
Commissioner Stone,
Yes.
Commissioner Steele,
No.
Commissioner Yergin,
Yes.
Commissioner Childers,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss.
Yes.
Motion carries. Amendment has been made to increase allocations for parachute training to 24,750. At this time, Chairman Shelton, would you like to thank you, Mr. Adcock, for being here?
Thank you all.
All right. Let you continue the conversation on this.
Now we're back to where we're fixing to get, and that is the approval of the nonprofits. And as you just voted, you increased that. So you'll need to make that adjustment in your notes there on the nonprofits of that 12,370.
But did
Yeah.
you say that if he got $3,000, he had someone that would match that 10 times that amount? Is that what he said?
That's what he said, for the first $3,000.
Up to 50,000.
Yeah,
Well, you know, there's 25 commissioners here,
yeah.
and if we take probably another 10 county employees here, that's $120 a piece. That's pretty good what money. That's over $40,000, is it not? And Keith said himself, you know, we gotta check those books.
That's individuals. I'm not gonna ask anybody to do that, I mean, you can throw that out there and they can, they can
So I mean,
certainly
you
do
know,
that.
if
but
people
I'm
really
just-
wanna help,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real opportunity.
Yeah. That's it.
Government. Has to be government action or individual.
Now this, I think it's any monies he gets. That's what I understood. I don't know why he
I
said.
believe Mr. Adcock said that the individual would match whatever the county appropriated over the current 12,375. So that's gonna mean $39,750 additional to them based on what you guys just allocated, so. Am I correct on that math?
Yes, sir,
Then if y'all wanna do something additionally, it wouldn't be matched, but it still would happen. That's my understanding.
I'd give you another 40,000+.
But that's, of course, that's individual, just like Keith pointed out, that's all individual. So, yeah, I'm ready for a motion, that's what I'm saying.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Smith to approve the nonprofits and seconded by Commissioner Mackin. Any further discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Michael Longmire,
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Carr,
Yes.
Commissioner Macklin,
Yes.
Commissioner James Longmire,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Stark,
No.
Commissioner Cameron,
Yes.
Commissioner Summers,
Yes.
Commissioner Overall,
Yes.
Commissioner Wayne Morris,
Yeah.
Commissioner Melvin Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Flake, Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Coppers, Commissioner Latham,
Yes.
Commissioner Stone,
No.
Commissioner Steele,
No.
Commissioner Yergin,
Yeah.
Commissioner Childers,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
And would remind you that you'll have to redo this again in September for second reading on nonprofits. Okay? Got that? Now, we're down to the final and third part. I know you're tired of seeing me. The final and third part is, now that we've got a tax rate, we know what that will be. We now have approved our nonprofits, and you know what that figure is. We're now to the final part of that process, and that's approving the budget, and that goes where Keith wanted to ask that question a while ago. And what's in this budget, you got that all those updated pages. Yes, we'll lay that.
This resolution, appropriation resolution, we're going to need to amend 55590 to $25,500 in the appropriation resolution.
You get that
55590, that's where T.S. Patterson was paid on that account.
I would throw this one thing out to you. This morning, you have changed, as Lenita pointed out, in that area, one figure by 12.3. You also changed the budget and expenditure items by 25,000. So you have increased expenditures by 37,000. Okay, just know that. All right. Now, from my perspective, here's my perspective on that. And Lenita can disagree with me if she likes, and you can't too, for that matter. That's not significant. The 9334 still funds the budget just like we were talking about before. It would reduce our fund balance instead of being the get away with that page. I would suggest you look at reducing that ending fund balance to June 30th, about, like I said, $38,000 to give you a pretty accurate figure. Just so you know, it's $5,409,000. So, like I say, just kind of a rough way to understand what you did this morning. Okay.
One more thing.
Okay.
If you want to include the $25,000 scholarship,
Yep.
you'll need to change 58,500. That's where
It goes.
where
Okay.
it would go. Add $25,000 to that.
58,500 other contributions to other agencies. That's where the 25 would go. So that figure would change from 47,500 to 62,500. You got that? And that'll put you do your re-adding, that gets your figures right. 72,500, excuse me. On this right here. Now, Keith's question that he had earlier, in this budget, there is a 4% salary adjustment for the county employees. That's true. I would say this one thing, sort of as I pointed out earlier, I think everyone here knows what a COLA is. Now, I'm not talking about the one you drink. If you're on Social Security, I guarantee you know what COLA is. COLA is the cost of living adjustment that Social Security makes every year. In the last 3 years, COLA for retired people has totaled 3.6, 1.7, and 1.5, for a total of 6.8% over the last 3 years. Okay? In the last 3 years, we have done a 4%. That puts you 2.8 worse off. Because they're, so at 4%, that means you're actually giving them, if you want to look at it that way, a COLA for this year of 1.2. And that figures 1.7, 1.5, and 1.2 is 4%. So anybody has any questions?
Just for the public's knowledge, explain to who all gets the 4%.
It's based on the total line item of wages to everyone under the elected official. That's the figure. Who gets it? The elected officials get 4% of their gross salaries to be distributed by them to their departments, to their employees. Sure.
Is that law, is that just ordinary procedure? Is that law that they have to administrate that? That's what I'm trying to say.
I would say since they're elected officials, and that's not law, but I don't micromanage their departments. And I don't think you want to either. You don't know maybe who has more responsibilities than others. And like, you know, they can surely, they can give straight 4% to everybody. They can do that. That's their prerogative. Or they can divide that up. Maybe they give 5% to one, 3% to another, but that's their prerogative to do that.
See, that's my big point. They some that need it bad.
I think they know that. I think these are employers that are keenly aware of where their needs are, who their people are, how hard those people work, and how far they're behind. And I think that's the reason, that's the very reason I would suggest that you want to give it to those elected officials, department heads, however you want to term their title, because they do know their people. And they do know who performs well and who's been there longest and who's done whatever. So that's the real reason.
Now for the question I get most of all, so that the public will know, do the elected officials get the 4%?
No.
Okay. I knew that, but
Yeah. Now.
That's the question I get.
Now, wait a minute. There's a now to that.
Okay.
You do remember that we talked about, and those of you that were here in the budget thing, 2 years ago, remember Mr. Hoffman was here. So yeah, they're gonna get some money, but that's state given. That's state given, it's not county.
Now it's state mandated.
Yeah. According to.
We giving it, the state's just telling us that.
Yeah.
But that's not a mandate.
Yeah, but it's like you say, and I respect Chris Hoffer to that point. He served here, I know him, I appreciate his work in that, but we just disagree on what mandate means, I guess.
Well, it's a mandate to me.
That's what I say, but he says no, but anyway, but that's true.
Well, that's the question I get asked the most. Are the elected officials gonna get 4% on top?
No. The answer to that is no.
Well, I mean, I knew that, but I want you to tell
They
that.
got that. I mean, it was 2 years ago, the judge did the trick.
Commissioner, I'd like to recognize a group of people before we go forward with this and here today. I'd like to ask every county employee that's here, whether you work in the EMS, public safety, the administration, department head, whoever you are, I'd like for you to stand up for just a second, please be recognized.
Thank you.
I want to be clear on this. The $10 million figure we talked about earlier is because these people working as hard as they do to manage our money and provide public safety and provide services. They dedicate themselves to people of this county. If you want to thank somebody for this, you thank those people that are here today. And I'd just like to say that on your behalf. I appreciate all of you being here. It's been an honor to serve with you.
You ready for a motion?
Butch, let me. Go ahead, so I can ask.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we approve this budget, 4% raise.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Smith to approve this budget with a 4% raise, and seconded by Commissioner Sykes.
Butch, just a point of clarification, Mayor. last meeting, Commissioner Steele made a motion to decrease the raise from 4% to 2%, and there was a vote on that. I've had some commissioners ask me about a no vote on that was to keep it at 4%, and there was some confusion on that. I just want that. Is that right, Commissioner Steele? That's right.
And as a result of that, and I received some of the same feedback from some of the commissioners about that, and what I've asked Ms. Lanita to do today, we're gonna start right here at 4%, and we've got an exact number of what it's gonna cost you as commissioners, it costs us in our budget, and we can go from there.
Yeah. Well, no vote last time was to keep it at 4%.
I don't know how many were to keep it at 4% or to keep it at 0, or I don't know.
There's some confusion.
There was some confusion, and it's hard to say what that no vote meant unless the commissioner offered input and clarified themselves. So the motion has been made and seconded. Any more comment? Question's been called for. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Williams?
I'm gonna try to clarify, ask him to clarify that so everybody knows. 4%, if you vote yes, you're for 4%, because that's what's in this budget, along with the increase to the Passion Center and your scholarship program.
And which that leaves the fund balance at exactly what you said.
Yeah, it's gonna be that. And like I say, we've got figures if y'all want to see what that is. We've got a motion, a yes vote means, yeah, you approve the budget 4%. CS Patterson goes up 12. Okay? Everybody understand? Okay.
Motion's been made and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Michael Longmire?
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham?
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes?
Yes.
Commissioner Barker?
Yes.
Commissioner Carr?
Yes.
Commissioner Macklin?
Disclaimer I read earlier also applies here. I vote yes.
Commissioner James Longmire?
Yes.
Commissioner Shelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Stokes?
No.
Commissioner Cameron?
Yes.
Commissioner Summers?
Yes.
Commissioner Overall?
Yes.
Commissioner Wayne Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Melvin Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Connell?
Yes.
Commissioner Flight? Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Copeland?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Stone?
Yes.
Commissioner Steele?
Yes.
Commissioner Yerkes?
Yes.
Commissioner Childers?
I cite the disclaimer I read earlier. Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, County Commission. We have a budget. Commissioner Smith, would you like to recognize? Yes.
Let me do one thing before we take a break. I want to take the opportunity, because this will be my last budget, or was my last budget. And this probably will be my last meeting. I am not running again, as you know. I do want to thank the commission. I won't say a pleasure, but it's been fun working with you. And I do admire and appreciate everybody's different thoughts on things. Because, like I say, one monkey don't run no show. It takes a whole bunch of others to have a circus. I want to thank the people of Gibson County for allowing me to serve for 16 years. I felt it was something I owed the county. They have helped provide me with a living for myself and my family, and we appreciate and love all of you, and all our hardworking officials and people that work for us. You make the budget process easier, though I know sometimes you think I make it harder. We do appreciate the work that you do. Thank you.
Let's take a few minutes to recess.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say something.
Rory Buster, I'll let you say something soon as you come back.
No, I won't be here. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
If you don't mind, Commissioner Stokes would like to say a word before everybody gets discounted, please.
This is gonna be my last meeting, and it's already been announced, I lost my wife, and, I'm gonna have to leave. The first thing I'd like to do is explain my no vote. I'm not against the raise. I've held to the position all times that we take the money that was gonna be appropriated for the raise and divide it equally among the number of employees we have and let everybody have a cross-the-board raise. That's the reason I had no vote. I am for the employees, and I think they all realize that. But that's my position. I've enjoyed serving with you people. I've made a lot of friends, and I've possibly made too many that I didn't mean to. But anyhow, thank y'all for the privilege of serving with you.
Now, I'm gonna say a quick word. I thought about this on the way here. Put Mr. Schulze's service to this community in perspective. I was 18 months old when he was sworn in as county commissioner. Now I think that puts it into perspective, and I think we all owe Mr. Schulze a warm round of applause.
Commissioners, I feel my hunters.
Thank you, sir.
Man, so y'all didn't thought of it.
Meeting please come to order. At this time, I'd like to call Mr. Ford Flippin to offer a report on pending lawsuits, please.
I'm pleased to report there are no pending lawsuits to report. So. That's good for y'all, it's not good for me. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Anybody like to approve that report? Motion made by Commissioner Ball, seconded by Commissioner Schulze. All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. This time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Chairman to offer a report from Correctional Complex Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Just have a short, brief report. Committee met, 5 members were present. The sheriff, on the sheriff, and a few of the numbers. One served this past 2 months was about 900. A high day count was 255 prisoners. The low day count was 218. We run about an average year round and about a month or two of 225 prisoners. The state boarding fees for May was $104,000 and for June was $105,000. Each month's been over $100,000 this past fiscal year. Talked about the budget a little bit. The jail ended with a 4% surplus, and the sheriff's budget ended with a 3% surplus. So that's really good. We appreciate the good work the sheriff and his staff does to make sure that he stays under budget and keeps our county safe. A couple more figures I'd like to mention here for the year. State boarding fees for this past fiscal year was $1,295,052. The inmate telephone usage fees was $47,559.87. Commissary, the booking and other fees amounted to $70,176.46. Process serving fees, $19,095.01. The Social Security fraud report brought in $16,500. The sex offender fees, the register fees that they get down there for making sure everybody's on the register, was $4,050. Data processing fees, $1,878. The vending machine brought in $372.70 for a total of $1,449,688.04. And so this is for just some money that comes back in to help run the jail, comes back into the county, stays in the county. And we have the facilities, we have the manpower, and so we use them, and that does help in the budget. Again, I commend the sheriff, the committee, commend the sheriff and his staff for doing the wonderful job. Any questions?
If there are none, motion made by Commissioner Summers, seconded by Commissioner Overall. All those in favor of approving this report, vote by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, like sign. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This time, I'd like to call on Chairman Jim Overall to offer a report on the EMS Public Safety Committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
EMS Public Safety Committee did not meet. Reported, I do have some updated numbers for the month, May and June. May had 439 emergency calls, 527 non-emergency for 966 total. June, we had 452 calls, emergency calls, 503 non-emergency for 955 total. Revenue figures for May were 197,000. I think it reported that on the last meeting. In June, totals are 292,848, which that's the largest collection we've had in the past 12 months. Goods still been up. Y'all heard me say time after time that Medicare, when they make changes, it's hard to get their money. They made some other changes. Director Arnold, her staff, are on top of it. Medicare has a notorious for not telling you till after they do it. I know personally. But I expect July's numbers are going to be up. Finished the year with $2.659 million from the EMS Public Safety Committee, or the EMS office. And that's my report on that.
Thank you, sir. I hear a motion to approve Chairman Overall's report. Motion made by Commissioner Steele, seconded by Commissioner Michael Longmire. All those in favor, vote saying aye. Aye. And opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, if I may have 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Swan song today, as Chairman Shelton said. I do want to say thank you to several, and it's not going to be a lengthy, it's not an Emmy acceptance speech, but I want to say thank you. I've had the privilege and honor of chairing the MS Public Safety Committee. Director Arnold and her staff have been great to work with and work together to make things better. The committee, you can't beat a better bunch of people. There's no doubt about that. Also had the honor of chairing the building committee, working with Miss Lanita and Mayor Witherspoon. Whoever inherits that rascal, bless you. That's all I can say. I want to thank Chairman Shelton and Miss Lanita and the Mayor again, the direction oversight of the Budget Committee. It's been an honor to work with them. But it has been my privilege, my main, to serve the citizens of the 10th District and all of those of Gibson County, and I do thank you for allowing me to do that.
Thank you, Chairman. And I guess I owe Chairman Overall an apology. When I took office, it just became obvious that he was right across the street from it. So I've leaned on Chairman Overall a lot over the past 4 years, and I've leaned on many of them over the past 4 years, including Chairman Shelton. But there's been a lot of days I've boogied across that street to see Jim and talk to him about a building issue and mainly building issues. And we've had to deal with those things and make decisions on the fly sometimes, and I think we make good decisions. I want to thank you, and I want to apologize to you, because I know I've been a burden to you at times, and I've pestered you and worried you, but I can't think of a better public servant than you. I mean, the time you put into it, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And I'm going to ask that any commissioners we have outgoing at the end of our reports, if you'd like to stand up and say something, you're not going to be back on this board again, then please, feel free to do so. We'd like to offer you input, and thank you. Did we approve the report?
Yeah.
I believe we did. At this time, I'd like to call Mr. Robert Lockard to offer a report from the airport board.
Good morning.
Good morning.
For the month of May, hangar rent was $2,900. We sold 555 gallons of gas for $3,016.91. Sold 845 gallons of jet fuel for $3,930. Total for the month, $9,863. For June, hangar rent was $1,549. We sold 541 gallons of gas for $2,917. We had sales of Jet A of 1,872 gallons for $8,707 for a total of $13,276 for the month of June. End of year total was $149,6302 for the year. Of course, you can see in the month of June the crop dusting went into high gear, so we sold lots of jet fuel. Activity is picking up at the airport. Businesses are flying more. We're seeing more of the companies in Gibson County flying into the airport and using it for their executives and their management teams, and I see that continuing for the foreseeable future. The Beacon project is on track. We'll ought to have that up and running before the next meeting. The state would quit dragging their feet. We'd be in a little better shape with that, but that's just the way that goes. And that's the end of my report. Anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Loggett, for that report. Do I hear a motion to approve this report? Motion made by Commissioner Miles, second by Commissioner Wayne Morris. All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, like sign. Thank you, sir. At this time, I'd like to call on Chairman Williams to offer a report on Fire Rescue and Emergency Management Committee.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ricky, start making your way to the front, please. We're going to start out with emergency management. As you can read in your little report that Ricky has given you, we're working every day to heighten our readiness in the county to prepare ourselves for disaster. You notice on the back page of that when the emergency management basically started out before all the high-tech stuff, it was a lot of ham radio guys that would get together and volunteer their time to perform in an emergency situation. And even though we are high-tech now, we're not past that. We're still using that as a key tool in our toolbox. Particularly want Ricky to talk about the 10 cat exercise out at the fairground, if you don't mind it.
If you notice in your packet, we had an exercise conducted at the Gibson County Fairgrounds that involved all the 21 counties in West Tennessee, plus about 8 states in the Central United States Earthquake Consortium. And we had 19 of the 21 counties that came in Gibson County and participated in this drill. We were very fortunate. We had over 98 participants that showed up and registered in. And this involves preparation in case of a major event, predominantly an earthquake or a tremendous series of tornadoes. And it helps us to get into preparation, how to bring in the equipment, how to handle it and all that. We had all these people check in. We had like 30, 40 highway patrol cars. We had the interim director of TEMA was here, Deputy Commissioner of Homeland Security. And it was a great day for Gibson County and that type of participation. And we just wanted to mention that it took, we had months and months of preparation getting ready for that, and communications was, like Bruce said, our communications has developed so much the last several years. It's amazing what we did accomplish working with all these other people. One other thing that I do want to mention, I think several of your cities were impacted. I think it was June 15th, the storms that came through. FEMA, I did apply to FEMA for another declaration, and in your cities, if you had damage to your public works, we will have a FEMA briefing this Wednesday at 9 o'clock. I didn't find this out till about 4 o'clock Friday, so we're trying to get the word out. And we don't know if we're going to meet that threshold for our county, but we're trying. If you had damages, please let your cities, Public Works, I've already talked to Bobby about Gibson Electric, we're calling them. Any type of covered bridge damage that you might have in your city, we need to be there, try to get that reimbursement. And while we're on that, in the last 10 years, this type of reimbursement that we've gotten from FEMA for storm damage since 2004 is added up just for public works, like utility companies, cities, the highway department. Carl's had extensive damage in those times of years. It's come up to over $28 million that FEMA's put back into Gibson County. And I think that's a phenomenal. We never had that kind of money come back in before off of these things, and that's everybody working together. And I want to thank the county commission for allowing us to have the flexibility to finance that money. We have to pay the money out first and wait for FEMA to reimburse us. That's the way it works. So we're just in the public works side of it. We're at over $28 million, and we're going to try to get a little more through this last storm. So in your cities, Mayor, Jim, you there involved in your cities, any public works, 9 o'clock at my place Wednesday.
That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Director Gray.
And thank you for the level of service and for all of your service with this, Ricky. Moving on to fire department, obviously you have Brian's recap there also. One issue near and dear to my heart, we become callous to some of the occupational dangers in handling grain. The company I work for, Anderson Grain, has actually donated grain rescue cubes and brought Brian and the other fire and rescue personnel in to train them in the use of those. Every year there's someone gets trapped in moving grain, and hopefully with the tubes being here and with the training and whatnot, we hope that we never have to use it, but we have the potential to save lives with this, and so appreciate the time of all of the folks that came to be trained in that grain rescue. You'll notice in there also joint training with the EMA and the TEMA. It's an issue that I keep stressing here, the cooperation between the departments to better the county and keep us safer. I can't stress moving from a situation in the past where there was very little cooperation to where we are today with the level of cooperation between the different agencies is just refreshing. The highlight, the good news of this report is I beat you up all for several months talking about ISO, and they came down, they evaluated the counties, and they have promised, I think by maybe the first or second week of August, they'll get their final number into the mayor, and they indicate that we will move from a 9 down to a 7, possibly a 6 in rating. Yes, that means. And that's not just the fire department. That was a concerted effort between the firefighters, between E911 dispatching, between Gibson County Water. Once again, the cooperation between these agencies has will bring a tremendous money savings to the county. I think you've got something probably on the back of your report there, but they can't give specifics because they don't know the value of your home, nor do they know what your insurance company is charging, but they've sort of given a shotgun approach, and just an average figure for a home could be as much as $1,500 a year savings in their insurance costs because of this improved rating. Could be quite a bit more depending on what you're paying. This black and white looking chart right here, once again, this is sort of a shotgun approach, but they're saying that, and they use lowball figures in this, I've noticed, but if you went down to maybe a 6 and you were able to insure, had like $1,000 premium over a community of 12,000 homes with that type of savings, that would actually total up to like well over $5 million in savings to citizens of this county. Just if it's just a 12,000 home subset of the county. So multiply that by the homes of the county, you could see a substantial savings. So all the work, we have had a monetary expense, trying to improve the county's readiness and whatnot, or the fire department's readiness, but it looks like it has the potential to pay off many-fold. So we're proud of that effort, and we're proud of the 9,065 hours that the firefighters have donated to the county the first half of this year. Thank y'all.
We appreciate that report. Does anybody have any questions for Chairman Williams? I just want to add to that, when Chief Cathy came on board, one of the first things we did was attend a workshop on ISO and lowering it was about a 4-hour long workshop in Jackson, and that was one of the goals Chief Cathy set coming in, and I said, Chief, that's a lot of information. You think we can handle it? He said, I think we can, if we can get everybody on the same page. So I want to applaud Chief Cathy and all his station chiefs and all the volunteers that really Didn't make a liar out of me, but I was a doubting Thomas for sure. And man, I just can't say enough about what you guys have done in that arena. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve that report. Motion made by Commissioner Flake, seconded by Commissioner Summers. All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. And opposed? Thank you. Andy Zerker here today to offer a report from the Fair Committee. I don't think he is, but I would just like to say that if you notice the red building at the front of the fair entrance that goes to the animal shelter, if you notice it missing in the next few days, they did contact me and said that they wanted to do away with that building. And apparently it had a tree growing through the middle of it, big enough to take a swing from, so they wanted to get rid of it, so they did. So if you see that missing, that's why that is. At this time, I'd like to call on Chairman Cotton to offer insurance committee. Do you have nothing to report, Chairman Cotton? Chairman Moss, do you have anything to report from the tourism committee?
Our tourism committee met about a month ago with Lori Nunnery, who represents Southwest Tennessee Tourism, and we met with Gary Mason, who represents Northwest Tennessee Tourism, and they were pretty much unanimous in telling us that we can't count on the state of Tennessee for any tourism money. But Mr. Mason was very positive about our Gibson County Lake, says that it is the third largest crappie fishery in the state, and the state has just stocked the lake with sturgeon to feed the bass, so we're not going to have any luck fishing out there. The committee is working with local businesses. Thanks to Joyce in her office, we're trying to contact all the local businesses to get much more visibility for anybody who should be coming through as tourism. And we see them, and we want them to stay and have a hamburger with us. We're doing our best to increase that visibility. And, some of you commissioners know you're not going to be back. If I happen to not be back, it's been an honor and a privilege. And if I am back, I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Chairman Moss. Do I hear a motion to approve this report? Motion made by Commissioner Steele, seconded by Commissioner Summers. All those in favor, vote saying aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. We've already heard from Chairman Burton, Workforce Development Committee. Let's move on into elections. We have, on the Regional Library Board, we have 2 terms. Mr. Beverly Urey and Mr. Don Farmer. Do I hear a motion on these appointments? Motion made by Commissioner Summers, seconded by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, like sign. We also have a newly formed Board of Health at the request of the state of Tennessee. I think we're possibly a little behind on getting that done. It's probably my fault, but we have it in place now. You see the names: Dr. Jim Williams, Mr. Eddie Sturgeon, Mr. Robert Patrick, Ms. Jenny Baker, Mr. Eddie Pruitt, Ms. Marilyn Goodman, Mr. Dan Black, and Mr. Versi Hamlet. Do I hear a motion on these candidates? Motion made by Commissioner Overall, seconded by Commissioner Steele. And I appreciate everybody serving on that committee. All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, like sign. We have a list of notaries. Do we have any additions to this list of notaries, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir, have two late file notaries. Judy Berkey, Dyer, Tennessee. Andrea N. Blocker, Dyer, Tennessee.
You've heard the additions to the list of notaries. Do I hear a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Steele, seconded by Commissioner Shelton. Any discussion on candidates for notary? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Michael Longmire,
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Carr,
Yes.
Commissioner Macklin, Commissioner James Longmire, Commissioner Shelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Stark, Commissioner Cameron,
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Overall,
Yes.
Commissioner Wayne Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Melvin Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Flake,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Copeland,
Yes.
Commissioner Middleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Stone,
Yes.
Commissioner Steele, Commissioner Yergin, Commissioner Childers, Commissioner Moss. 24-1.
Motion carries. Thank you. Before we adjourn, do we have any outgoing commissioners that know they're not going to be back that would like to stand and just say something, be recognized in any way? Commissioner Copeland?
That'd be me. I elected not to rerun, and I've enjoyed my term on here. I've been here 8 years, and I've enjoyed it. I think you do a great job. The commission does a great job in what they do, and they do have the county at heart. And I really appreciate that, and I appreciate every one of them. So, see y'all. Have a good time.
Anyone else? Commissioner Morris?
I elected not to run again. With my job, my profession, I chose not to run again because unfortunately I've missed some meetings, and I feel like if I'm not able to represent my district, then I'm not doing my job. So I took it on myself to decide not to do that again. The only piece of advice that I would like to give each and every one of you here is when we come in here, this is a business. It's business decisions. It's nothing personal. So there's no reason whenever we have a break, or if I see you guys out on the street somewhere, we can't shake hands and speak. Just keep that in mind, and this government will always do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mayor.
Go ahead. Yes, sir. Mr. Crawford.
I just want to make sure we remember George Pounds, who was our District 1 Road Board representative who passed away in the very past week.
And I appreciate you bringing that up, and shame on me for forgetting. Thank you. Mr. Pound served for many, many years, and I'm glad that you know him serving on this body as well, and our thoughts and prayers are certainly with him and his family. Commissioner Lee.
I just want to say I elected not to run again, but it's been an honor, and I'd like to thank everybody in there for all they do for the county, and I really appreciate that. Each and every one of you's help to me, and just thank you.
Thank you. I guess I'm the last one here, but I just like to say what an honor, and I mean this, a privilege it's been to chair this body and to serve with each and every one of you, and there's not one of you I hadn't learned something from and grown from it. And I can honestly say that I'm a better person for it, and I cannot tell you how grateful I am, and I hope that I look forward to serving with some of you in the future. But if it's not in God's plan for me to do so, then I'll move forward, and I promise you I will not have a single regret. And it's just been I'm about to get choked up a little bit. It's just been a great experience most of the time. So, but thank y'all. Appreciate your service and appreciate the service of this body, all the committee members and the active role you play on it. This county absolutely, positively will not run in the fashion it does without the work we do through our committees and your involvement in them. And thank you all so very much. Ms. Leanne, would you like to say something?
Yes, I would just like to say thank you to everyone here that has supported me, and I'm going home next month. I'm like the mayor, I'm gonna chuck it up, of course, but I'm 51, and I'm going home due to disabilities. And I just appreciate every one of you. I know I've made a lot of you mad at times, and I apologize for that. It feels a lot with my health. But I really appreciate the raise that you gave the employees. I just can't say how much that means to me that you're taking care of the people that have been taking care of me. Without them, I would have been gone years ago. But I've been an employee of the county for 25 years altogether when I worked for Ms. Janice Jones, and I've been an elected official 8 years. But I sincerely thank each and every one of you, everyone here that has stood behind me. And I just want to say I'm going home, so I ask you to keep me in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we adjourn, I I need to announce this. The funeral service, Miss Betty Stokes, will be at 2 o'clock. Is it 2, Commissioner Shelton? At 2 o'clock at Shelton Funeral Home here in Trenton, Tennessee. I know their family would appreciate you being there, and if not, please continue to remember them in your prayers. Thank you all very much. We stand adjourned.